Martial arts have been existent in the world for thousands of years and have been increasingly popular over the latter half of the 19th century. Martial arts are styles of combat-based art forms used for self-defense, competition, sport, and warfare. Some of the furthest back that martial arts go back to China with wushu, which literally translates to martial arts or military arts. Most people are probably familiar with the term kung fu. Well, kung fu actually means a skill acquired through hard work and dedication. The art of Jiao Di, created in or around 2796 BC, was the first Chinese martial art as far as sources say. Some sources say that it goes back almost 6,000 years. This was a combat wrestling system that had strikes, joint locks, throws, and pressure point attacks. Today it is called Shui Xiao. This was in fact the first art practiced at the infamous Shaolin Temple of Zen Buddhism. Forms of Chinese wushu, known as Taolu in Chinese, that are most commonly practiced today originated around 10,046 BC when King Wu put existent combat techniques into dances accompanied by music. Today they are no longer accompanied by music and are used to demonstrate fighting techniques in a performed sequence to specific standards in competitions. Styles and forms were created based on human and animal-oriented combat styles. For example, praying mantis and tiger style kung fu. Many weapon forms also exist, including weapons such as bow staffs, butterfly swords, straight swords, broadswords, spears, sticks, and nunchaku. Wushu Sanda, also known as Sanshao, can be traced back to 632 BC, at the time being named Xiangbo. Modern Sanda, however, was said to have been established somewhere between 1912 and 1949 by the Chinese military, and was created based upon the traditional styles of Chinese wushu. Forms of wushu are separated by northern and southern styles. For example, Shangshuan and Bajishuan are northern styles, whereas Wing Chun and Hungar, they are southern styles. Wing Chun was famous for being created by a female for self-defense. The art was also practiced and made popular by Ip Man, and everybody knows his infamous student, Bruce Lee.
My name is Hui Cong Liu. Okay, it's Chinese name. And I'll start with myself. My family first. How I get into the martial arts is because my father is a Shaolin Kung Fu master, and so I sort of like followed my father's footsteps. So I get into the martial arts since when I was 6. Yeah, when I was 6, I started training with him. So he trained me when I was really little, and then he put me into a kung fu school, Chinese martial arts school, so boarding school, so mainly training for martial arts. And then when I was 14, so I back to my hometown. But I do still training, but part time that times. And after when I was 16, I moved into England, and up to now, I'm teaching and still training non-stop. Okay, my art. A funny thing in China, we say martial art is art, because in all the time, kung fu is all the version name. Like it is a skill to defend, to kill people, to protect your family, gonna say like this. So nowadays, no one using it. It's only for sports. So in kung fu, now modern kung fu, we say wushu. We separate two ways. One way is routine. So you got all the movement, like performance side, all routines together. And then the other way is Chinese kickboxing, where you can actually allow to full contact, to attacking, to really use it. And then the routine side of the kung fu is contain many styles, I'm gonna say, because China is so big, and the martial arts, the culture of the martial arts is so long, and there's so many different styles between the north part of China to bottom part of China, and all the movement is really strong and different. And also, apart from the styles in Chinese martial art, you have a lot of weapons like sticks, sword, spear, and hooks, chin whips, big knife. Gonna say, I don't know how to say in English. Big sword, big sword, broadsword, a lot. I love it because it can make you physically strong. And also I love the part where I like the time when you're training it. Gonna say, I enjoy the training. I enjoy the training either training by myself, and also I also like the training with other people. Like because I train in the boarding school, so I train all my kung fu brothers and sisters together. So everybody try to push each other, try to getting better. I like the feeling that everybody try to getting better and get very motivated. You learn to respect each other.
Yeah.
Unique. What else? Gonna say modern martial art is much different, and the way is different. It's more like a performing. You want people who are watching it more enjoy it, and then you know the part. Like people see it's nice, but behind it it's got a lot of work to do. But you like the time when you show people, and you know you done your best. We actually in Chinese there's one sentence we say all martial arts come from Shaolin. Yeah, because that's the base where it's come from. It is a big difference between like different type of martial art, like Thai boxing and then karate, Taekwondo, a little bit different. But overall, they're all exactly the same. The basic way is punch and kicks, and they're all same thing to defending and attacking.
Southern styles such as white crane kung fu gave birth to the Japanese art of karate around 1392 in the Ryukyu island of Okinawa. At the time it was named Tode, which translates to Chinese hand, as the Fujian white crane form and other forms were taught to the Okinawan people by Chinese families on what is now known added onto the name Karate Do, the way of empty hand, which stays put to this day. Karate and Wushu led to the Korean art of Taekwondo. In 1907, Korea was under Japanese rule and banned the practice of martial arts. Many Koreans who practiced their art of Taekyon and other arts fled to other countries in Asia and tested out their art against other arts such as Wushu, Karate, Jujutsu, Judo and Tai Chi. With their newfound knowledge of these arts, they used it to improve their art form. In 1945, Korea was liberated from Japanese rule, and those who fled came back home. 5 of them opened their own schools, also named Kwans, and taught their new arts in Seoul, the capital of Korea. General Choi Hong-hee was also released from imprisonment at this time, and he started to teach the Korean military his art style for unarmed combat. After witnessing a demonstration in 1952, the precedent at this time was for the unification of 5 Kwan styles. In 1955, a panel of instructors, politicians, and historians, including General Choi, coined the name Taekwondo, and he is noted as the founder of Taekwondo. Taekwondo literally means the way of the foot and fist. The Korean Taekwondo Association was the name of the organization in 1966. General Choi broke off from the organization, creating his own association named the International Taekwondo Federation, also known as ITF. The Korean Taekwondo Association later became the WTF, the World Taekwondo Federation. Today, Taekwondo is practiced as both combat and patterns. Patterns are referred to as Hyong, Pumse and Tul in traditional Taekwondo, WTF and ITF. Patterns are much like forms and katas. Taekwondo is also known for performance demonstrations that highlight their kicking and acrobatic abilities, including board breaking.
My name's Chloe. I'm 14 years old. I've been doing Taekwondo for roughly 7 years now. Started just before I turned 7. Like a leaflet through my door. Joined and I loved it. It was very active and very discipline-like, and I've been doing it ever since. And I compete for England now. So been Euros twice. One in Liverpool, one in Estonia, competing in the under-14s. So do a lot of it. Taekwondo is a lot about discipline. It teaches you how to defend yourself in a way of hit with one punch or one kick. You don't want to get into a brawl, you don't want to have to get into a fight, you want to get it done. It's a lot of mainly foot technique. We focus a lot on our feet, a lot of our kicks. We do our patterns, which is all our fundamental moves, demonstrated in a form, like a pattern obviously. And then we have our free sparring, which is the main concept of sparring is like to show your technique against an opponent who you don't know what they're going to do. And then you just have the general discipline and the self-defense and rules. It's very good for like younger people to make them understand that getting into like the fights isn't right. So it's very, I can't think of the word. Yes, it is. Like the Koreans will train. If you're in the Korean team, they'll train every day for a week to compete. Like, because it originated in Korea, all the moves there are like correct. Like, and it's kind of like a bit like Chinese whispers. Like we get told one thing, and it gets twisted a little bit. Another country gets other things. So across the world, it is very different. You have Americans who do certain moves with more power than others when they're not meant to be, and you have like other places like Russia who will put full power into every single move, and you get places like Italy and everything which are very rigid, whereas the Koreans are very relaxed. They put the power in when it's needed, and it's all very kind of like relaxed, and so it's a lot different. I love Taekwondo because like it's kind of like as much as it's a full-on sport, it's very like relaxing. Like it keeps you very active. It keeps you very like kind of safe. Like it teaches you correct ways to be safe. And I love like how much you can go with it. Like at one point you could go to the Olympics for it. It gives you so many options. And like our sport is so different because like because of the relaxedness. Like you're not like, I know like karate is very like rigid sometimes, and it's just kind of like it's very modern as well. Like it was only made 100 years ago, so it is very modern. So, with our competitions, you get two main events: your patterns and your sparring, which before like they don't really help you in like the real world. They're just generally for the sport itself. You have your special technique and your breaking. Again, just let us for the sport. But we are massive on self-defense, so we're massive on discipline. So we have self-defense seminars, so like you get some times where like women go to the side and it teaches them about the specific self-defense that we need, and then you get like what if someone comes behind you, like the general knowledge of how to deal with an attack but not to get in trouble for it, so it doesn't turn into like a bloodbath and everything. Just generally get them off and go away. And it teaches kids to like be very disciplined. Like when I started it, I will admit I was quite like a bad child. Like the rules and the strictness of the sport and how to like control anger and things like that, it really helps a lot of people. So it's very good. It keeps you very fit. Like it helps you to build like natural muscle, which every person should kind of have. Like it gives you that like leg strength to like, I don't know, walk up like 100 flights of stairs, like that strength in your legs, whereas protecting yourself at the same time. So it's a very good sport to do because it gives you like an overall benefit, fitness, your health and safety and everything. With the mental side, like I said, it helps with anger. Like if you could be really angry, you could come here, you could literally like take it out here with the sparring or with a pad drill, or just generally the relaxation of the classes just naturally makes you forget about what you're actually angry about. So it like helps a lot of people like mentally like deal with things. and like physically, like you learn like how to be safe if you are sadly like attacked. It also keeps you like very fit, so like anything small you could easily do. Like with me, like I hurt my back and the muscles in my back protected like my spine, so it helps you like stay safe like physically in your body with like the muscles and everything supporting like your bones. So
Taking into account the 5,000 or so years of adapting and meeting new purposes that these arts did, as well as the fact that these arts are trained for different purposes, such as self-defense or competition, or sport or discipline, or any other reasons, we rarely answer which is the best, the definitively best martial art, when all these arts have different meanings of what is effective and what is not. And just knowing these arts wouldn't be fair. So here's a list of all existing martial arts, as far as I know. Within that list are arts such as... Within those arts there are many different styles, such as striking, grappling, weapon defense, weapon offense, as well as standard self-defense.
Well, like you say, they're all sports now, so you got to follow the rules, and every sport got different rules. Like our rules, if we do uniforms, we have our own rules and regulations. So you got to follow the regulations by competing against the sports. And well, can't compare it anyway. Or you can sometimes if you are actually, but if you go to get to the top level, you can't transfer the martial art from this side to other side. So you got, once you're up to top level, you learn things quick, so you understand quick. So it doesn't matter which martial art you do.
The main one I use is Taekwondo and Karate. Karate and Taekwondo are very similar with like the way their moves are and everything, but Karate is very like rigid. Because I've watched a lot of things about Karate, because I really want to know the difference. Karate is like a lot more rigid and everything. My dad does Kung Fu and he says that that's a lot about self-defense and everything like that. Like ours is a big mixture. So like we're very, like I said, we're very relaxed and we focus on like loads of aspects, but we are quite similar to karate, but just more relaxed.
I think it's more technique. I think they're all disciplined, whether it's Taekwondo, Jitsu, kickboxing. It's all mindset and it's all different technique, but technique is a different thing. That's all it is. I think Taekwondo is fantastic at kicking, but they're going to have a tension in it. Jiu-Jitsu obviously has no stand-up, it's all on the ground, grappling, which is an art itself. You know, if someone took me to the ground, I wouldn't know what to do. So it's quite specific and it's stand-up. If it's in the street, the first thing you do in a fight is you're standing up. So the first thing your basics like you put into your body is for me, the boxing. And kick, defend yourself. So that's why I think it differs from other sports.
You can't really compare art forms. You can discuss the severity of situations and what would be better or more useful in that situation. You cannot compare them together. Maybe in a competition you can, but you just can't compare them in general because they are all unique, all of them. You can't compare Sanda to Western boxing. Sanda's beautiful in its own way, and I think it's actually, this is my opinion, I think it's better than Western boxing. Penka Silat, that's unique, very different to Jiu-Jitsu anyway, but a good comparison that can be made, because they come from the same country, is actually Capoeira and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whereas I think they were designed to be together. That's what I think, but you can't really compare any martial art at all.
Arts have different reasons for being. Some arts are made for hurting and killing people. Some believe that's what martial arts are. However, other arts consider martial arts to be used for mental, spiritual, and physical discipline, meaning that those arts that are considered to be ineffective by one person's standards may not be ineffective by another person's standards. Martial arts are all different, and we should look at every viewpoint before judging each one, don't you think? I'm Connor Black. Thanks for watching.